Myself, Dr. Pradeep Daikar. Here I developed one video for the BSc SEM second year BSc SEM 2 electronic students. The topic is memories. The memory is one of the important topic in the digital electronics, because every digital electronic circuit consisting of memories. Because of the memory, the digital electronic circuits are more popular. So what is memory? Memory is a device which can provide facility to store the data or information. So due to this inherent facility provided to the digital electronic circuits, the electronic circuit becomes more popular. Here the memory, particularly semiconductor memory, which is present on the motherboard, the memory can comprises with the letters M and N, where M is a number of memory location and N is a number of bits that one can store into the memory, into the one memory location. So these two letters M and N will decide the size of the memory. So there will be a number of M number of words, and every location comprises N bit of data. To access this M memory location, there will be P lines of address. There should be some relation between P and M. M equals to 2 to the power P. For example, if there are 32 memory locations in the memory, then the 2 raised to the power 5. So P is equals to 5, means 5 bit of address. With this address can be carried by address lines. So P equals to 5. So P lines of address is required. Now once we access the memory location, accessing means to perform the read and write operation on the memory. Write operation on the memory means to save the information, to store the information, and to read the data, that is saved information, can be retrieved. It is called as read operation. So once we access, the combined operation of read and write is called as accessing. So once the location is selected by giving an address, one can perform the operation on the memory, either read or write. So for that purpose, after reading or writing the information, there should be a need of N bit of data, and hence for that purpose there is N lines of data input lines and N lines of data outputs. So here the block diagram of memory shows that there will be a address inputs, P lines of address is provided, there will be a N lines of data inputs and N lines of data outputs. So in case of semiconductor memories, the data input lines and data output lines are same, to minimize the number of pins on the memory chip. For that purpose, this can be used. So data input or data output lines are same, that is we called it as a data IO lines. to write the information or to read the information. For that purpose there is a one control terminal, commonly it is called as W/RD bar terminal. So this W/RD bar terminal, through which one can select the operation which is to be performed on the memory. When this pin becomes high, that is WR/RD bar equals to 1, the write operation is performed on the memory, and when it is 0, the read operation. So whatever may data that stored into the memory can be read when it becomes equals to a 0. Chip select terminal. On the motherboard there are so many number of chips, and we are energizing the chip by means of giving a supply plus VCC and ground. But at the same time all the chips are not unavailable, because there will be a limited size of memory. So to obtain the required size of the memory, we should need a number of chips. For example, one chip having size 2 kilobyte, and we want 8 kilobyte of memory on the motherboard. Then in that case we are connecting 4 such memory chips, and hence while we are performing the operation on particular chips, only that particular chip is energized by means of chip select terminal. So one more control terminal is provided with this memory, is a chip select terminal. So it is a active low, hence we represent it C as bar. When it becomes 1, it becomes inactive, and when it becomes 0, that is binary 0 low, then it becomes active, and particularly that chip will be enabled for further accessing operation. Here we have the classification of memory. The memories are classified into 2 categories. Before that, one thing is very important about the memory, that there will be a volatile and non-volatile memory. Volatile memory is that memory in which the contents are changed when the power is put off. But in case of non-volatile memory, content remain unchanged, that is called as a non-volatile memory. Here we have a broad classification of memory. So all the memories in a computer science, that can be divided into 2 categories. One, primary memory and secondary memory. So primary memory is associated with the motherboard or in the system. As an example, we have microprocessor system or microcontroller system. This microprocessor chip or microcontroller chip, which is on the trainer board or any other some specific purpose device. Then with this microcontroller, additionally memory chips are connected. Microprocessor, with it some memory chips are interfaced. So the primary memory is a semiconductor memory, and secondary memory is a memory which can secondarily use. Secondarily means such memories are can be removed from the system. Whenever we want a permanent type of data to be saved, then in that case secondary memories are used. Now the primary memory is again divided into 4 groups: SAM, RAM, ROM, CAM. SAM is a sequential access memory. The sequential access memory can accessing means read and write operation to be performed on the memory. and data can be enter and exit into the memory. So in that case the data is sequentially entered and comes out of the memory, hence it is called as sequential access memory. The SAM, sequential access memory, are of again two types, that is shift register, which we have already discussed, and another is a CCD, charge coupled device. Now then we have another kind of memory, that is RAM, random access memory, or sometime it is also called as read write memory. The RAMs are of two types, again SRAM and DRAM. S means static and D means dynamic. So static RAM and dynamic RAM, in which bipolar technology or unipolar technology is used to manufacture, construct it, and accordingly they are differ in response timing, and hence we can bifurcate it as a static RAM and dynamic RAM. But nowadays dynamic RAMs are more popular because of their inherent facilities of the timing. Now then we have ROM, read only memory. Read only memory, as we discussed RAM, in case of RAM, which provides the both facilities to the programmer to read the information as well as to write the information. But in case of the read only memory, it provides only the facility to read, and to write the information there will be some specific technique to write the information. ROMs are again available in four types: mask ROM, PROM, EPROM and EAROM. Mask ROM, in this read only memory, during the manufacturing process, when last step is there, during which the entire data pattern is entered into the memory, this kind of memory is called as a mask memory. Now another memory is a programmable read only memory. In this programmable read only memory, programmer has a choice to enter the information only one time. Once the information is entered, there will be no choice to the programmer to enter the information. Hence this kind of memory is called as a PROM, programmable read only memory. Now then we have EPROM, erasable programmable read only memory. This kind of memory can be erased, whatever contents are erased and new data can be entered with a special programmer, and this kind of memory is called as erasable programmable memory. Another kind of memory is a EEROM or EAROM, electrically erasable or alterable read only memory. In this memory, the contents of the memory are erased location by location, hence it is called as a electrically erasable or alterable memory. Then we have secondary memories such as magnetic tape, magnetic disk, in which we have hard disk, floppy disk, then optical disk, CD, DVD. Nowadays we have flash memory, pen drive and memory cards. So this is the secondary memory which can be kept for a certain time during the operation on the system and can be removed. So this is a secondary memory, particularly it is useful in a computer system. So this is the classification about the memories. Now then we have one of the very important thing in case of the memories, that is memory expansion. To increase the size of the memory from the available chip, we called it as a memory expansion. Now memory can be expanded in two ways. One, by increasing the word capacity, and second by increasing the word size. Means to increase the word capacity means we are increasing the number of words in the memory, and on every memory location we can store n bit of data. Means it is also possible to increase the word size of the memory. So here we have expansion of memory which is possible in two ways. One is word capacity and another is the word size. How we can expand the word capacity, that is to increase the m, in which it can be expanded by connecting number of same size ICs to get the required size of memory. Let the required size of memory be represented by small m. Then to connect the number of available ICs to obtain the required size of memory is given by small m divided by capital M. It means that if we have a memory of size, from that if we are connecting same size of memories with the, as an example, suppose we have 10 rupees of 10 pieces, then 10 rupees of 10 notes, and then if you want to give somebody 100 rupees, what we are doing, we are giving 10 rupees notes, total 10 notes, so that we can give him 100 rupees. Similar is the here. Suppose we want to construct a memory of size 8 kilobyte and available with 1 kilobyte. So we are connecting 8 chips. In that case we get the total size of 8 kilobyte. While we are connecting, use suitable P lines to M line decoder. There will be a necessary of decoder, because if we are not using decoder, the address width will be increased, and hence to minimize it, for that purpose there should be a need of proper size of, proper selection of P lines to M line decoder. The address line of every IC chip connected together, read write control terminal also connected together. This will be very clear from the example. We have taken an example for the word capacity. Now another expansion is a word size. To increase the word size means we are increasing the word size, number of bits on the memory location. To increase the number of bits on the memory location, that is to increase the n. So for that purpose we have available chips, and in that case we are connecting in parallel format, so that the total size of the memory can be obtained. So let us, how many number of chips are to be connected, it can be given by the formula that the small m by capital N. Small n is a required size of the memory, capital N is the the available chips bit capacity of the available chip, and then we are connecting them to get, maybe in some memories there will be expansion of word size as well as word capacity. In that case, how many number of chips that we have to connected, it can be given by the formula m, small m by capital M into small n by capital N. So in this way one can expand the memory size. Here we take one example problem. Construct a memory of size 2 kilobyte from available memory IC chip of size 512 byte. Here in case of 2 kilobyte of memory, there will be a 2048 memory location. M is given as here we are representing the capital M and small m. Capital M is the size of available chip, word capacity of the available chip. Small m is the word capacity of a required memory. Means we have the memory of size 2 kilobyte. 2 kilobyte means 2048 byte, and there will be no change in the word size. Number of bits stored on the available chip is also 8 and required size is also 8, and hence we write here small n capital N is equals to small n is equals to 8. So number of chips, that is IC, required to connect small m by capital M is equals to 2048 divided by 512 is equals to 4. So 4 number of ICs are required. So we connect these 4 ICs so as to obtain the 2 kilobyte size of memory. Here address line of 512 memory chip is equals to M equals to 2 to the power pin, because we need P lines to M line decoder, and hence for that purpose there will be a formula 512 is equals to 2 to the power 9. So 9 bit of address is required in a given chip, but in case of the overall chip the address bit requires 11 bit, because M equals to 2048, that is equals to 2 to the power 11. So 11 bit of address is required for that purpose. And here we have to connect the 4 chips, and hence for that purpose 2 lines to 4 line decoder is used. 2 lines to 4 line, because 4 chips are connected, hence there will be use of suitable this decoder, that is 2 lines to 4 line decoder. Now we draw a logic diagram of this. Here we have the memory chips available with having size 512 by 8. There are 4 chips that are connected, M0, M1, M2, M3. Then every chip having address width of 9 bit, because 512 is equals to 2 to the power 9, hence there will be a 9 bit address. But the overall memory which having a size of 2 kilobyte, that is 2048 kilobyte, hence in that case we have needed 11 bit of address. So that 11 bit of address is for the A0 to A8 it is a 9 bit address. A9, A10 again 2 bit address is given here, that is given to through the decoder, and output of the decoder is connected to the chip select of the every memory chip. Similarly we are connecting data input output lines. So commonly we are connecting 8 bit data input output line. Every chip provides 8 bit of data and it is common, and hence we have connected all the data buses together, and it is a common 8 bit data bus. All the read write terminals are connected together. It is a common WR-RD terminal, RD bar terminal. There is no shown a bar, but there will be a bar. So in this way there will be a logic diagram of 2 kilobyte of memory, and this diagram can be constructed from the available 512 byte of memory. Now how the accessing is to be performed, for that purpose we have given address mapping. Now we have the basic addresses of the IC chip as A0 to A8, that is A1, A2, A3, A4, A5 up to A8, and 2 bits A9 and A10 are given to the decoder. Hence first address will be all zeros. Hex code for that is, because we know that one hex code represents 4 bit binary. So here total there are 11 bits, and hence the 3 bits can be represent this binary information, binary addresses. So first A9 A10 R00, first address is A0 to A8 bit R000, but when all the addresses are consumed, so we have the addresses from A0 to A8 are 111 and the last two digits A9 and A10 are 00. So in case of hexadecimal representation, we can represent it as 000 to 1FFH. Next, we are changing the first A9 A10 bits which will be given to the decoder. So in the first case, when A9 A10 becomes 00, first memory chip is selected. In the second case, second memory chip M1 is selected. In that case, we can place A9 A8 equals to 01. First address is from 000, that is A0 to A8 are 000, and last address in that IC is A0 to A8 are 111, and hence we get the addresses from 200H to 3FF. So in this way we are connecting the all four chips together and we have all addresses. So first address is hexadecimal 000H and last address is 7FFH. So in this way we have address mapping of the memory IC chip. In that case we can construct a 2 kilobyte of memory. With this, if you have any difficulty, you can contact with me. Thank you one and all.